DJ Yoakley with you. It is game day on the campus of the College of Charleston, and we've got a very special guest at this point, a man who will be calling the games all weekend long, Mr. Ron Potesta, the voice of the Penguins this year. Ron, how are you?
I'm doing good, DJ. A little cold. No one told me it was going to be this chilly down in Charleston this weekend. Looks like upper 40s today. And then it warms up Saturday and Sunday. We'll be in the mid-50s on Saturday, mid-60s on Sunday. Plenty of sunshine, but it actually snowed last night, albeit briefly, about 4 o'clock this morning. There were flurries in the air in Charleston, and you can hear the screams of people because, well, let's face it, DJ, Southern people do not like snow, and they surely don't know how to drive in this stuff. So anytime it snows down here, it makes for some interesting topics.
I'll tell you this. I learned my lesson last week. People in Northeast Ohio do not have any sympathy for you with your 40 to 50 degree weather down in Charleston. I'll tell you that.
No. I saw what the weather was like back home. I know I'm not going to get any sympathy. Trust me.
For the first time in a while, Ronnie, it will be the YSU Penguins going for two consecutive series wins to start the season. This is a very good College of Charleston baseball team. Coach Bertolini has his teams prepped. What are you expecting to call while you're down there?
You know, this is going to be a good test. The College of Charleston has won 35 games 2 years in a row. They're a solid program. They're a very good mid-major program, ranked somewhere in the top 40, 45-ish in the country. And they've had YSU's number. Now, the last time these two teams met, you're going to go back to 2011, and the College of Charleston was a top 20 team, and they swept YSU and swept them very convincingly down here. So the Penguins haven't played the College of Charleston in 9 years. But historically, they have not fared well against the College of Charleston. So I think this team in particular today, I think the Penguins have a very, very good chance at getting a victory today. It's going to depend on how the team performs in the rather chilly weather today. And more importantly, I want to see what Colin Clark can do in his start in game one of this series. Hopefully, he's a little bit sharper than his first game of the year against Houston.
It'll be interesting for me to see kind of where things show up from YSU standpoint. Can Colin come in and really shut the door? Because, like I said, he had a good outing. It's just he needs that run support to go with him. And right now, if you take the last two games of the Houston series, Ron, it looks like YSU's offense is alive and well, and hopefully they traveled well to Charleston.
You know, the other thing that I took away from this series, and we spoke with Dan Bertolini, and you'll hear it during the Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods pregame show when we sit down and talk with the manager of Youngstown State. Last year, the Penguins went 13-41 in games decided by 3 runs or less. 3 games in. Now, it's a really, really small sample size, but it's good to know that the Penguins are off to a 2-0 start on the campaign in games decided by 3 runs or less. They lost by 4 runs on opening day, but they won their next 2 games against Houston, both extra inning games, well within 3 runs. So the Penguins are playing a lot better. Again, a very small sample size. We'll get a much better idea of how good this Penguins team is this weekend when they take on a very impressive College of Charleston team. But even though it's a small sample size, it's good to know the Penguins are off to a very good start in terms of their record in games decided by 3 runs or less. Because, like I said, last year, 13-41, that's not a good record. 41.5% of YSU's losses came by 3 runs or less. And I think that was the product of a lot of youth last year. Well, that youth has gotten a year older. And I think those numbers are going to turn around, and that's going to be the key to the success of the 2020 campaign.
Yeah, and I think if you start off with 2 series wins, 2 very convincing series wins against 2 great baseball teams, I think that speaks well for bringing some more talent to the area in the years to come. The thing I'm most interested in, probable pitching rotation, it's going to be the same as last weekend. You're going to see Colin Clark, the left-handed pitcher from Circleville, in game one. Cullen Floyd from Akron, another lefty, 6'4", 225 in game two. And it looks like we're going to go with Travis Perry, the hard-throwing right-hander, in game three. How important is the pitching rotation here? Obviously, we have a great bullpen, but to get put the goose eggs on the board up through 5 or 6 innings, Ron, how important is it going to be in Charleston?
Well, this is huge. I mean, look, pitching's 90% of the game, and especially starting pitching. You've got to have solid starting pitching, and if the Penguins can get a solid outing from Clark and Floyd and Perry this weekend, I think the Penguins are in really good shape. I agree with you. I think the bullpen's electric. They got some electric arms back there. And, it's no secret, first 3 games of the season against Houston, a very good hitting team, I might add. YSU struck out over a batter per inning. That tells me that there's some serious velocity, some serious giddy up with that back of the bullpen. And there's guys back there that are more than capable of nailing down leads. Now it's up to the starting rotation. And I think Colin Clark gets an interesting start today. Again, the weather's not going to be very kind for anyone, and the wind is very, very much into today's game. We're talking winds probably north of 20 miles an hour. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on routine fly balls and pop-ups along the infield. But if Colin Clark is on his A game, I really like the Penguins' chances today.
Love seeing these youngsters grow up so quickly into the starting lineup. You got guys like Braden O'Shaughnessy, Andre Good, Turner Graw out in right field. We've got a lot of youth in this lineup. It's going to be exciting to see how it's played out over the course of the weekend. You will have the call, of course, at 4 o'clock for the first pitch, 3:45 or so for the Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods pregame show. Ron, what are you most looking forward to this weekend for the call?
Well, I want to see what DeSanio can do. He was hotter than a firecracker on the 4th of July in the opening weekend against Houston. And I'm going to be curious to see if that hot bat follows him into Charleston, South Carolina. YSU offensively, let's get those bats rolling and keep up the good work. I know they scored a ton of runs deep in the heart of Texas last weekend. Let's see if those bats can stay hot. If they can, I like our chances. But yeah, there's a couple kids I'm looking forward to seeing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if the young man can remain hot. DeSanio.
Ronnie, have fun with the call this weekend. It'll be, again, first pitch 4 o'clock on YSN, the 3:45 pregame show brought to you by Baird Brothers. Have fun, my friend. Enjoy it and bring home some wins.
I'm hoping to, brother.